remember the legend of Icarus. Icarus was the guy that was told by his father. His father made wings for him so he could have the ability to fly. But then he was given some caution that don't fly too high unless the sun will melt your wing and you will fall and die. That was one part of the story, at least the part that we know a lot of, the part that we often cannot forget. But there's another part, and I'll give an allegory to this figurative story, as I would assume it to be. The second part of it was that he was also told, don't fly too low, or your weight is going to make you to plummet to the ground. Now that's a great idea, I think, but let me give a figurative sense of what I think it means to me. Don't fly too high. It means, not being high-minded, how it has been explained a lot of times, just unnecessarily high-minded to the point where pride comes in, ego comes in. Nobody loves proud people. Nobody loves people being too egotistical, and whatever word that we could make use of to describe people who are egotistical or groups who show pride and things like that. Nobody really loves things like that. These things, I believe, they express themselves in various ways in our society. Male chauvinism, feminism. I think these things are just one sense of pride of, one way or the other, I think, in my opinion. Kill me, if you will, but that's how I see it. But there's the other end that I love, which means not flying too low unless your weight is going to make you to plummet to the ground. We all have inherent weight. Whatever that means figuratively, it's subject to the person to explain. We all have inherent weight. If you go too low, your weight will make you plummet to the ground. For example, it is not advisable for a leader of a certain status to condescend really low, just not too low. Though there are exceptions to this rule, don't get me wrong, Christ is an exception, and some other leaders, they're an exception. But unless you have the ability to shield yourself against the consequences of becoming too low, then you should go ahead with it. But if you don't have that wisdom or that ability to shield yourself from the consequences of condescending too low. For example, let me give this example. I love it. Say we have two clocks. One is very big, one is very small. If the small clock, this small clock, says that big clock we find at the center of the city, where anywhere you are around the city, you will see the clock and you can tell the time. I want to be up there, Very small clock, maybe the one, and a wristwatch, for example. And when the clock climbs up to that place, you can't even see it any longer. Nobody can even see it. It's useful when it's down here, where the size is really approachable. It can be seen. It can be useful also. You can tell the time. But when it climbs up to the size of the city clock, nobody can see it any longer. But when the city clock says, "Oh, I kind of admire that. It's good to, lay low, show humility, modesty," which is fine. I don't have anything against modesty. But it says, "I want to come down." When you come down, you come to trouble people, and then you lose a certain level of your relevance. A lot of people from, far places of the city can't see you any longer. You are now hidden. You are now, to a certain level, unuseful. So I think it's a good idea, a good allegory or figurative explanation that don't fly too high based on your size, and don't fly too low, or your weight will make you to plummet and you will die. There's always a consequence. But don't fly too high. Meaning, you know your size, you know your ability, the things that you have and the things that you don't have, your features, whatever, yourself. So don't fly too high, and also don't fly too low. You get the point, right? Thank you very much, guys. It's Joshua Francis. I'll see you guys later. Oh, by the way, season's greetings. And I already have Apollo already on my left eye. And if you noticed it, no problem. If you didn't notice it, now you know. So protect yourself. This is the season of Harmattan or winter, wherever you live around the world. Thank you very much. Catch you guys in the next one.